Allow me to move quite fast now, and I want to also invite the Chief Executive Officer, that is none other than Carole Kariuki, Kenya Private Sector Alliance, to kindly come as well and give her a quick address. Welcome. Let's put our hands together for her as well.
Thank you very, very much. Good morning. Let me recognize the Governor of Vihiga, who's present here today, and just be grateful that he could join us. The Yala MPs who joined us from different countries, all private sector who are here, and other organizations, those ones who are online, and really say I'm really, really grateful to join you this morning for such an important event and meeting, because it's really, really a core subject of what we are all doing. And I just want to also first thank Mary Geshu, who is our director at KEPSA, but also the founder of Takataka Nimali Foundation and the convener of this conference, and her remarkable work in championing circular economy here in Kenya, and commitment to sustainable development in East Africa. And I know this is the work she plans to do to get it all over Africa and beyond. And I'm so grateful that her energy, her commitment, and really trying to gather us constantly to have these conversations so that we know exactly what we should be doing. Let me also just introduce KEPSA very briefly for those who are new to us. And if you're not a member and you're in business, please do sign up before you leave. We'd love to have you as part of our membership. We are also the focal point of East African Business Council. So you will have a really rich engagement as we move forward. So we are the apex body of the private sector in Kenya, and we bring together about 80 associations, both local and foreign business entities, including multinationals, SMEs, and startups. And collectively, we represent about 2 million businesses locally and over 45 million businesses globally through the International Chamber of Commerce Kenya chapter, which we host. And so in the East African, as I said, we are the focal point, and that gives us a reach into all these countries. And I'm so glad to see the EALA MPs here, where I know we should be having a conversation, a roundtable soon on other matters in terms of policy and legislations. But a lot of that also comes from these kind of conversations. And just echoing what Mary said, the waste management landscape in East Africa reveals a pressing need to reform. The region produces about 65.5% organic waste, 19.6% paper and plastics, and 3% glass, with approximately 59% of all waste ending up in unregulated landfills. And I think when we travel around the country, we do see that. And really, I think for me, it breaks my heart every time I even see big vehicles on the road, on the highway. Someone is eating something and just throws it off the road. And I don't think they're even conscious of that, what it's doing to our environment. And almost sometimes I think if they pass Vihiga and they're going to Mombasa, they think they live in Mombasa so that the Vihiga environment does not affect them, which it does. You know, if we mess the environment in Vihiga and there's drought and all that, it affects us in Mombasa and other regions. And that's really, for me, one of the things that really breaks my heart, that there's a lot of information that we need to do, and I'm so glad to see Nema here and others. Thank you, really, really, joining as director and your team. And I think for me, even as I go on with my few remarks, one of the things I've said, and I would like to say again, can we have an information campaign about waste management? Because that's where it really begins, for people to understand what it means to really just litter our environment. And I think Rwanda is a good example that it can be done. You know, and you travel to Rwanda, many times people think it's only around Kigali, but you go far out of Kigali and it's the same, because it's been cultured in them. And if there's something we must do, and Mary, this is I'm really asking you to lead this conversation for us from the private sector, and bring us together for this kind of conversation where the whole public starts understanding what littering means, but also how we can start turning it. That yes, we will always have waste. Waste is with us. We cannot live without waste, but we can turn it to income. We can use it well, but the impact it has on environment, and in this time of climate change. So recognizing these challenges, KEPSA has been a pivotal player in advocating for sustainable waste management in Kenya. Our contributions to critical legislation. We've just heard about the plastic bill, including the Sustainable Waste Management Act of 2022 and the plastic bag ban of 2017, have laid a groundwork for the circular economy. You can imagine the hullabaloo that was all about the plastic bill, but haven't we lived without it? And I think we can do more, in terms of not just banning, but recycling, because we need this packaging and all that. There are things we cannot not package with plastic because that's where we are in the world, but we can turn it into something else. The other day, I went to visit the plastic conference, Compact Plastic. And the two things I came out with from that, actually it was an exhibition, was two things. One, the kind of plastic that we can do better plastic that is more sustainable. But secondly, how to recycle that. And I sat on a seat of recycled plastic. And I thought many of us have either grounds, farms, and all that. Who needs seats in your grounds? We can turn these plastics into those seats. And there's so much. And I'm sure Takataka will show us a whole list of things we can do with the waste. So I'm proud to announce that the official launch of the East Africa Waste Management Coalition is an initiative that will domicile at KEPSA. And as we host this coalition, we aim to drive the coalition's agenda in addressing shared waste management challenges across East Africa by fostering collaboration between governments, the private sector, academia, and civil society. We will tackle pressing issues such as plastic pollution, promote recycling efforts, and spur innovation in waste management. So if you're here, before you leave, as I charge you to join KEPSA, please join the coalition. If you care about the environment, if you care about waste recycling, please join this coalition so that we drive this agenda. And I think, Bwana Governor, because you're representing all the other governors here, we look to you to champion this in the counties, to make sure that all the other governors take this and we start running together. And we're happy to even host a conference with the governors and be able to charge them on this, but also to do a lot more. The waste management, I think, presents a lot of vast economic opportunities. I think one of the things that when you talk to business and you talk about recycling, they're always thinking, what's a business opportunity? And so this is what to tell business wherever you talk to business, that this global circular economy is projected to be worth over $4.4 trillion by 2030. And East Africa can lead in this, in turning this into an economic opportunity for our people. We talk about all the young people and the jobs they need, but here's an opportunity that we may not see it. Sometimes we only tell them, go to agriculture, go to the factories, but there are emerging opportunities like waste management that can do this. And so in our journey, we also acknowledge the critical role played by Takataka Nimali Foundation, which is a women-led organization championing circular economy in Kenya. And through these partnerships, an organization like Takataka Nimali will continue to scale up efforts in green job creation, capacity building, and legislative reforms aimed at promoting resource efficiency. While East Africa has made significant strides in addressing plastic waste, as evidenced by the Kenya plastic bag ban in 2017 and similar initiatives in Rwanda and Tanzania, a lot of work lies ahead. And apart from the information gap and communication, apart from getting people to understand how to turn this into economic opportunities, I think there's a lot more in the policy initiatives. I would really work with government from them and the executive in really our quest to also get to almost plastic free, in terms of not that we are not producing waste of plastic, but we are using everything that we produce. And that's really what we would like to advocate. But we are also long advocates for PPPs to enhance waste management. We know government cannot do it on its own. We know private sector and others cannot do on their own. And so PPPs come in handy in terms of this. And so these partnerships offer dual benefits, environmental sustainability, and economic returns through resourceful recovery. And so as I conclude, I want to call all the stakeholders, governments, private sector, players, civil society, development partners. Thank you, UNCTAD, for the work that you continue to do and work closely with all of us in this and many other areas to unite in addressing the urgent waste management challenges we face today. And I don't know if we need to have a challenge that we call out and give it a name to make it look urgent, so that governments and ourselves can really understand the urgency needed in this area. And so as we launch this East Africa Waste Management Coalition towards this, I look forward to an even bigger conference led by this coalition, but getting these countries to really understand that the work that is ahead of us so that we can transition completely to circular economy. So thank you very much, and I look forward to hearing more, even though I might leave shortly, but I know by the end of the day, we'll get a lot of the reports of some of the things that will happen today. So, Bwana Governor, I'll be waiting to hear from your team on how we can drive this with the governors as we move forward. Thank you very much.